welcome to I'm Every Woman. I'm your host, Janette Burke, and we have a great show lined up for you today. Do you struggle with relationships? Do you need to improve them, let's say with yourself, your spouse, your co-workers, your family, your friends? Well, if you do, you're going to love to hear from our first guest who will be with us right after the break, Janice Nisker. She is the program writer for the Sterling Women's Weekend, which is from the Sterling Institute of Relationships. And she'll be here talking to us about how we can improve those relationships. And she has two great giveaways today, and we'll talk to you about that in her segment. Then we're going to be joined by Nicole Schwartz of Next Image Consulting. I don't know about you ladies, but if you've been going to the mall lately or even trying to look in fashion magazines to update your wardrobe, you might be a little confused by all the colors, pastels, patterns, travel prints, and nautical, and you name it out there that are part of spring and summer's fashion trends for 2012. So Nicole's going to work with us and tell us how we can create our signature style using items from our own closet, my closet that is, and how to suit your body type. So we will learn through me, and you can also apply it to yourself. And then you can get her giveaway, which we will tell you about later in the show. It's a $125 value, and you can have a image wardrobe consultation with her. And then lastly, the show's going to round out with a business segment for all you fempreneurs out there with me, Janette Burke, your marketing magnet. Today we're going to talk about how having your vision and purpose in order can make or break your business. And I'm going to give you 3 short, quick, easy tips to ignite your vision and get your purpose on cue and your marketing on cue, and then of course to have the business of your dreams. So, and I also have a great giveaway today, a 1.5-hour telephone consultation. We call it a marketing assessment with me, worth $150. So stay with us. On the other half of this break, we'll be right back with Janice Nisker of Sterling Women's Weekend and the Sterling Institute of Relationships. Thanks. Stay with us. Thanks. Hi, and welcome back to I'm Every Woman. We're with Janice Nisker today, who is a program writer for the Sterling Women's Weekend and also part of the Sterling Institute of Relationships. Welcome, Janice.
Hi, Janette. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you? Good. I would like to know, what is the Sterling Weekend, the Women's Weekend, what it's all about, and I know it was created by Justin Sterling,
right,
who wrote this great book called What Really Works with Men.
Right.
So if you could tell us a little bit about what Sterling is and who Justin Sterling is, I think that's a great place to start.
Sure. Justin Sterling was a sociologist, is a sociologist, and what he found was happening was women were coming to him and talking about how they were being very successful at work, but in their interpersonal relationships, they were struggling. And he would have one woman come and then another woman come, and he would work with them to get their personal sides of their lives working better. And what happened was these women said, I really would love for my friends to get the same benefit of this. Could we do this as a small group together? And he started out having 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, women coming together and discussing how to have better interpersonal relationships. And at a certain point, about 30 years ago, he decided, I think I'm going to do this on a larger scale and create a seminar or weekend that will address these needs. And so at first it was 20 women, and then those 20 women went out and enrolled another 25 or 30 women. And then those women enrolled their friends, and so on and so on. And so for the last 30 years, Justin has been putting on these weekends for women so that they can improve their interpersonal relationships, discover more about themselves, and then take it out to their friends and family in hopes of spreading this across their community, society, whatever, the world in general, so that people, women specifically, have better ideas how to balance their work life and their personal relationships.
Now, I also understand there's a men's division.
So what happened was, as this Women's Weekend was evolving, he decided that the men were being left out, and he created a very different Sterling Men's Weekend that addresses the needs of men specifically. One of the things that Justin believes is that men and women need different things in their relationship, and so he tailored something specifically for men and something specifically for women so that each got what they needed.
And what would be some of the key learnings of this weekend for women in helping them improve their relationships? And I know it could be the relationship with men. It could be designed for a single woman who wants to find her true love or get married. It could be to save a woman who's on the verge of potentially ending her marriage.
Right.
Or it could be for women who are struggling with their family, their friends, their coworkers, what have you. So could you just give me 1 or 2 key learnings maybe that you got out of it?
Okay. I'm not going to give you the content, but I'll tell you what I learned.
Yes.
I learned that my relationship with my mother, which was kind of not wonderful, I learned how to deal with my mother as 2 women together, as opposed to mother and daughter. We became 2 women together relating as women, and that really changed our dynamic. We are now 2 adults talking freely, without judgment, and that has really changed. The other thing that I really discovered was when I did my weekend, which was almost 12 years ago, I was divorced at that time for about 15 years. And honestly made my ex-husband wrong. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. And what I really got to learn was, what did I bring to that marriage that might have caused things not to work as well as they could have? So that in my next relationship, I could take that learning and have a successful marriage the next time. And it did work for me. I am a living testament. I remarried last year. And this is a very different marriage. And the other thing that really helped me was that now I have this group of women who support me to be successful. It isn't that relationship where a lot of women think that women are in competition, that they're being catty, and oh, that woman doesn't want me to be successful. She's going to do everything so that she looks good and I don't look good. That's not the outcome of the Sterling Women's Weekend. We learn that women together are our best allies, and we can support each other to be successful. And so these women have really trained me and helped me learn what I need to do in order to be a successful wife. And now that I'm married, they still keep me in and remind me, here's the tools and steps that you've learned.
Okay, and as I understand it from talking to some other people, they've salvaged their marriage.
Right.
They've had better relationships with their children.
Right.
A sister who didn't get along with her brother learned to mend that relationship.
For sure.
So it's really anything to do with relationships.
It's the relationship with your coworkers. It's the relationship with your boss. It's the relationship with your sister, your brother, your parents, your friends, your ex-spouses, your children, and I think most of all your relationship with yourself. Because we don't tend to look at ourselves and say, well, I'm unhappy. Why am I unhappy? What is making me unhappy in my own life? And how can I be more self-confident? How can I be in higher self-esteem? And this weekend really does address how we can work on the inner part of ourselves for ourselves.
Now, it's true also that, a working woman is dealing with a lot today. Family, maybe divorce, maybe a single mom, maybe married, but juggling a lot of tasks. And how do you see the role of women changing as a result of taking the weekend?
One of the big things that we learn is that women who work tend to be more masculine in their energy, in their way of dealing with their coworkers, in their way of dealing with their staff if they're the managers. And in work, sometimes that's exactly what's needed. When I did my Women's Weekend, I was working in a very male-dominated industry, and I was a manager, and I treated my staff in a very male way, because that's what I saw around me and that's what seemed to work. And after I did my Women's Weekend, I think I became a little bit softer. I learned a few different ways of relating to people. And about 5 years after doing my Women's Weekend, one of my staff came to me and said, when you were first my boss, I really didn't like you. You were harsh and you were like everyone else here. And now I really love you. And that to me was a testament to how I can be a successful person in work and come from my feminine power as opposed to, ball busting or masculine energy and still be successful.
And that's something that I really speak a lot of in my work too, in helping women who are entrepreneurs or even in the corporate world to be okay and to celebrate and to bring into practice what I call their divine feminine spirit. I think that's very important. I think that we don't, as women, don't have enough key role models to exemplify that.
For sure.
And so we tend to get sucked into the system that we know, which is modeling men.
Right.
In the corporate world or the business world as a way of, this is how you be successful. It's not the only way to be successful, but we seem to forget that sometimes. So the next Women's Weekend is coming up in September?
It's the last weekend in September. It starts on September 28th, and it goes from Friday night just all day Saturday, and it finishes Sunday probably in the evening, 8 or 9 p.m.
And how do women get to this weekend?
Women get to this weekend through other women. So you won't see advertisement for the Sterling Women's Weekend, and you can't, see an ad or whatever. What will happen is a woman will tell you about the Women's Weekend, and she becomes your mentor in some ways. And we have a lot of events where we invite women who have not yet done the weekend so that you get a little taste of it. You can see what we do, how we relate. And one of the things that really bring women to the weekend is they want what these women have. They see that their relationships are working. They see that they're happier. They see that they're mending fences, and they want what these women have. So it's getting in touch with a woman who has been a graduate, or getting a hold of the Sterling Institute of Relationship and asking for a woman or a class or a program in their area that they can investigate. And if you don't happen to live in an area where there's a pocket of women, we can hook you up, long distance with a woman who can give you all the information you might need, who can put you on a phone call with other women who are, dispersed all over North America, and it is all over North America. And so you can get a feel on the phone. Even if you can't be there physically, we can still give you the experience over the phone.
Now, I know that you guys do some amazing work to help women improve their lives. And I also know that there's some fundraising initiatives involved to help women get there who might not otherwise be able to afford it and or transition or improve their lives.
Right.
To that end, I know that there's a bunch of women going for this next upcoming weekend. And I know that you go together, so it's a bit of a social thing too,
It's
right?
totally social. Your weekend starts when you all travel down together.
And you stay in the same hotel and what have you.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about your fundraising initiatives, some of the things you do? And I know you've got things today.
I've got a couple of things here. And what I want to share with you as well is that we really encourage the women who are fundraising to be a vital part in that. It's not like we do it for them. We support them in it so that they get the benefit of going out there and telling people what it is that's important to them. This is why I'm doing this weekend. This is what I intend to get. And they get people on board to say, yep, I see how this woman wants to change her life and make a difference in her community or whatever. So in the past, we've done things like car washes, raffles. The woman, if she has a particular talent, let's say she's a good cook, she'll cook meals for people. Or if she's a professional, let's say she's a hairdresser, she'll come and exchange hairdressing for some money toward her weekend.
Now we have two initiatives going on right now.
Right.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. One of them is a free membership to Curves, which is the fitness Curves, so that women can also improve their health while they're supporting this woman. And it's worth $650. It's a free membership for a year. The location that is sponsoring it is in Thornhill on Center Street. But once you're a member, if you're going anywhere in North America, you can take your membership and it's honored. So it doesn't matter if you live in Thornhill, as much as if you win, it can be used by any woman. Or if you decide that you don't want it, it's an amazing gift to give to somebody else in your life. A gift of fitness that somebody else might want to use.
So how can someone claim that prize today?
Well, if you want to either email me at paddlesup, PADDLESUP, like paddling a boat, 22 at yahoo.ca, or you can send the money, and I'll tell you how much the tickets are in a minute, to Sterling Women's Weekend at 1 Norman Wesley Way, Toronto. M as in Mary, 3, M as in Mary, 3, H as in Harry, 3. And the tickets are 1 for $5, 3 for $10.
Wow, that's a great bonus.
So
bargain for
so that's
value.
It's an amazing. It's
so
a gift.
What's that address again, please?
It's Sterling Women's Weekend, 1 Norman Wesley Way, Toronto, M3M3H3.
And that's one ticket for 5 or 3 for 10?
Or 3 for 10.
Now, I see some other things here that look very delightful. Louis
Yes.
Vuitton.
Yes.
It's lovely.
We have an amazing,
Wow, that's a beautiful wallet, leather and everything.
gift for yourself. And
what do you got over there? Is that a set?
And it's a set, and we have the wallet to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this amazing purse, which is leather here. This is leather, and the whole thing is leather.
Okay.
And it has its Louis Vuitton little tag.
And all over.
And all over the insignia is there as well.
This is original or a replica?
This is an amazing replica. It could even be something that has a slight blemish that might be the real thing, and we're not 100% sure, so we don't want to lead anyone astray, but it is an amazing value. It's worth $850. And again, we're going to have tickets for it, and it's one ticket for $10, 3 tickets for $20.
Wow.
So
for an $850
for an $850 value.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm a bit of a shopper, and I look at Louis Vuitton all the time, either on the web or in the stores that sell at Haute Renfrew, and I know that this wallet is worth $790, and that purse is worth well over $2,000. So, to get something of $850 for a ticket of 1 for 10 or 3 for 20, that's just totally amazing. And this is all helping a woman to reach her weekend, right?
Right. And I just want to give you 2 pieces of information. One, I want to give you the purpose of the Sterling Women's Weekend, because that might give you some idea of what is possible. And the purpose of the Sterling Women's Weekend is to engage in the process of locating the source of your power and discovering and dissolving the barriers between you and manifesting that power in your relationships and in the world. So what that means is the woman learns to see where her power comes from, gets to see where she stops herself, where those barriers come up that stops her from being that powerful woman that she can be, breaks down those barriers and allows her to be the best woman she can be in her relationships and in the world.
And I think one other thing is important that I would like to ask you about is that after there's something after the weekend, right? It doesn't end there. So it's not like you get all this learning and you're just kind of left with it on your own.
Right.
What happens after the weekend?
What happens after the weekend is classes are available. And again, it doesn't matter where you live, because if you're not in a geographic place where there's face-to-face classes, there are telephone classes. So you will always have connection to women who are graduates of the Women's Weekend. Living in Toronto, we have a weekly class. So you have access to a class once a week. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we practice the tools and concepts of the weekend. I have been going to a class since I did my weekend. So I've been going nearly 12 years every week to a class. And what it does is it reinforces what you learn. And as your life changes, you get married, you have children, you change your work situation, your parents are aging, whatever it is that changes for you, you have this amazing resource of people that keep you on track. And as well as you have the opportunity to enroll other women into the weekend, and you get to mentor them through their weekend. And as you mentor them, you learn more again about yourself, and you get to re-practice your tools from the weekend.
Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that the founder of the Sterling Institute and the Women's Weekend is Justin Sterling, who wrote this book, and I want to hold it to the camera. It's called What Really Works with Men. And I'm sure you could visit your local library or even go to a relationship section at Chapters or Indigo and find this book. Might be a great place to start. The next thing I would really do is encourage you to get in touch with Janice here, because you want to come out and see how it works. She'll invite you to a meeting, and then you can explore the possibility of going on the weekend.
Right.
And I just want to show one more time that they're doing some fundraising to get a woman to the weekend who is earning her way there, correct?
Right.
It's not something that you're just...
Yeah, it's this woman's initiative to get herself.
So there's a 1-year free Curves membership worth $650, and they actually gave some workout gloves too, I see. And that is compliments of the Thornhill Center Street location, but can be used on travel card or if you move somewhere, what have you. So you can. And I know it's an international organization, so that's pretty good. And then we have this absolutely gorgeous Louis Vuitton wallet and purse. It looks like it's a set, right? It's from the same pattern.
Right.
That I believe they're selling tickets for $850, which normally, I mean, the value of this alone, I know, is $790. The purse is over $2,000. So together for $850, ladies, you're looking at a bargain. This is a leather bag, leather straps. It's all stamped Louis Vuitton. I think you're really going to love it. And again, this is the initiative to get the woman to Sterling Women's Weekend. And how much are you selling the tickets again for? 10?
The tickets for the bag are one for $10 together. One for $10, 3 for $20. For the curves, it's 1 for $5, 3 for $10.
Okay.
And they can either email me at paddlesup22@yahoo.ca and let me know that they want to purchase tickets. I can talk to them how they can get the money to me. And you can definitely send it to me by mail at Sterling Women's Weekend, 1 Norman Wesley Way, Toronto, M3M3H3.
Okay, so that's great. And, it's so wonderful to be able to help another woman achieve their goals and give back to the society, and then they can in turn help another woman. So it's actually a repetitive process.
I really see it as a paying forward. That women were there for me, and now I get to be there for the next generation, I guess, of women that are doing the Sterling Women's Weekend.
Wow, and you know what? That is great, because I think you mentioned the word collaborative versus competitive, and I think more women need to explore that word and what it means. So it's really good that you brought that up, and I know that it's had generational effects, because I've known people where a grandmother, the daughter, and the granddaughter, 3 generations have explored the Sterling Women's Weekend.
That's right.
It's really healed the family. So I think it's a great thing. I want to just mention the Sterling Weekend again is coming up. The Women's Weekend is in September, the weekend of this September.
The last weekend in September, starting the 28th of September. So it's the 28th, 29th, and 30th of September.
Okay, and the website for the Sterling?
The website for Sterling is www.sterling-institute.com, and click on where it says Women's Weekend, and it will give you a lot of the details of the background of the weekend. There's also a section where it talks about Justin's background. If you have men in your life that you think would benefit from the men's weekend, there is a men's weekend starting April 20th. And that's an amazing thing for them to discover as well.
And where is the weekend?
The weekend for the men is in Newburgh, New York. The weekend for the women right now will be in New York. It is the exact locations to be determined.
So just outside New York City.
So outside New York City.
The website,
www.sterling-institute.com.
Okay, Janice, I'm afraid we're out of time, but it's been wonderful having you here. Thank you so much for coming into I'm Every Woman and being part of today's show. And you know what? You've convinced me that it's worth looking into, so you're gonna come out. I might even be going on the weekend.
You never know.
Join me, Toronto? Come
That's
to the weekend.
Right. Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thanks.